Hey, what's up guys? This is Andrew Smersek with Combat Art Training. Today we're going to be talking about pistol reloads and whether we should be using the slide release or if we should be racking the slide. So, something that gets talked about way too much. There's way more important stuff that we should be talking about, and people actually get mad over this, which is dumb, okay? But let's get into it. Now, I'm not talking about competition. I'm not talking about shooting for fun, because for some reason, people always comment about that. That's not what this discussion is about. It's called Combat Art Training. We do gunfight-oriented training. Now, the slide lock lever is going to be faster when it works. Now, usually, when people talk about running a gun, they talk about speed and accuracy, right? Speed and accuracy. We need to also think about stress. Now, you want to do everything as fast and accurate as you possibly can, of course. But we need to also think about stress. Now, by stress, I don't mean that you are incapable of hitting this button under stress. I mean that there's a thing called human error that none of us can escape, okay? There's always a chance of human error. So, with the way I do my reloads, I try my best to eliminate any chance of human error with my method. We'll get into that in a little bit. But, what did I say earlier? The slide lock lever, it's called a slide lock lever. I'm gonna say slide release so YouTube algorithm picks it up. But the slide release is faster when it works, but it doesn't always work, okay? So let's get into that. Now, if I release the slide early, so say I'm gonna hit it with my right hand thumb and I'm putting the mag in with my left hand. I go, start putting it in and release the slide before the mag's in, I now have an empty chamber, so after I realize that, I'm gonna have to tap rack again to get around in the chamber, okay? One method you can use to avoid that is by doing both things, putting the mag in and releasing the slide with my left hand. So left hand puts the mag in, hits the button, and then I'm on target, okay? But if I put the mag in and then rack it, there's no chance of that, okay? Now, the button's not always in the same spot. So, if you were to go to put the mag in, and there it is, right? Because you are picking up a different gun, now it took you longer, all right, and you introduced human error. You may not even recognize that the slide is locked back when you get back on target, okay? You know, go take a Force on Force class, role play, you'll see that people make mistakes, okay? Minimal stress on the range, people make mistakes. Now it's when your life is on the line. So, I don't want that, okay? I don't have to find where the button is on any different gun. I just have to grab the big piece of metal and rack it, okay? I do the same thing with a rifle. I just have to know where the charging handle is. You ever see someone pick up an AK and they're trying to find where the bolt release is? That's what I'm talking about. Also, Smith & Wesson Shield, right? Good luck using a slide lock lever on that. In fact, the first generation Shield, people broke them because they were trying to use a slide lock lever, all right? If you just rack it, there's no issue. Now, aside from that, for left-handed people, okay? Now, I recently trained with Jared Reston, and awesome class. I'm going to post a review of that soon. But he's a left-handed shooter. For righties, he has them use a slide lock lever. For lefties, he says you can use slide release, okay? But for him, because the button's not always on the same spot, you know, he runs a bunch of different guns, and the button's not always on the same spot. He can't make them all ambidextrous, so he just goes ahead and does what's called the slingshot method to release the slide. So, another thing to consider, especially for lefties, is the button not being in the same spot. Now let's move on. Now, does the slide lock back every time? No, okay? I had a couple 320s, I could never get them to lock back reliably, all right? Just a little bit of pressure, right? This is an empty mag. So, this should, because you put an empty mag in, and it's gonna push up on that slide lock lever just a little bit. All right, this should lock back on the last round, okay? But just a little bit of pressure. And this is a pretty damn new magazine, okay? Just a little bit of pressure on that slide lock lever and it will not lock back, okay? So People talk about adjusting their grip so that the slide will lock back and stuff like that. I don't count on it, okay? I don't count on it. I don't believe that I'm gonna be able to make micro adjustments on my grip to make the little button work when my life is online or my family's life is online. So I skip that, okay? Every time I put a mag in, I rack it. That makes sure that round goes in the chamber, okay? Because you don't know if the slide is going to lock back reliably. So that's another time when the slide lock lever does not work, okay? So something to consider, all right? Now, how do I do my reloads? Well, I learned at Fighting Pistol, you bring new mag up, eject, insert, and rack. Now the way they have us do it is when you're done shooting, or excuse me, when your mag runs dry, finger off, bring the elbow in or into the ejection port down and the magazine towards you. Move your feet, bring a new mag up, eject, insert, rack. Okay. For a lefty, the way I have us do it, or the way they have them do it, is finger off, rotate the elbow in, same thing, move, new mag up, eject, insert, roll, so the ejection port down is down, and rack. All right. Now the ejection port being down is crucial to this. Okay. This allows it to clear malfunctions even when you don't know you have them. All right. Something I didn't quite see mentioned in any of James Yeager's videos, so I want to bring it up, but he has a great video on this that I'll put in the description. He talks about Hicks' Law. Hicks' Law states that if you have a bunch of different options, right, it's going to take you longer to choose what you're going to do. So if you slam it in, let the slide go forward and then go on target, but if that doesn't work, then you hit the button, and if you have a stovepipe, you sweep it, but if it's a horizontal stovepipe, you do this other thing, right? Instead of doing all that, put the mag in and rack it, tap, rack, clear it. That's how they load the gun. They do a reload, they clear a type 1 malfunction and a type 2 malfunction. And then for a double feed, that doesn't work, you just reload it, okay? So, my thing, I took the tactical response way and I just added one little thing, and that is I rip the mag out every time, okay? If you watch the Fighting Pistol DVD, you'll see this is how you clear double feeds, right? So I want to give Duke credit there, but let's talk about it. So, get done shooting, finger off, bring the gun in, right? Ejection port's down, move, I bring the new mag up, I use the moon cut, okay, but otherwise you can just shift the mag into your index and middle finger and then rip the mag out like this, okay? But this is a mod I do on my guns, like this in sights, and that's it. But again, finger off, bring the gun in, move, bring a new mag up, rip out the old one, insert, rack, and back on target. So the thing with this is that if I had a double feed and didn't recognize it, what does it look like? It looks like the slide is locked to the rear, right? It looks like I have an emergency reload. Now, if I try to hit the mag release, you'll see people try to do this. Also, when the mag's not falling free, they do this wiggly shit, right? For me, I don't worry about if the mag wants to come out or not. I rip that bitch out every time. So, finger off, move, rip, insert, rack, and I'm back on target, okay? Another time. The slide lock lever will not work is if I have a inline stovepipe or a horizontal stovepipe, or as I call it, non-visible stovepipe, because again, it looks like a reload, like an emergency reload when you were sighted in, all right? So if I had the inline stovepipe, I'd bring my new mag up, rip it out, insert. Now if I try to hit the button, it wouldn't work. I'd sit there wondering why, right? Instead of doing that, new mag in, rack, it clears it and puts one in the chamber, okay? So I am eliminating human error, all right? Again, ripping the mag out every time, that gets the mag out when you have a double feed. Racking the ejection port down, that ensures a new round goes in, okay? It doesn't matter if the slide locked to the rear or not. If you had a double feed, you'll clear it. So that's the way I do it, okay? So instead of like identifying what the problem is and then going into the thing, right? I could do a reload when I don't even realize it's actually a malfunction, right? And it wouldn't matter. All I have to do is finish my reload and my gun's working again, okay? Still practice malfunctions, just practice them, but this method eliminates the chance of human error. Now, will you get a malfunction in a gunfight? I hope not, okay? But I also don't think that we spend enough time shooting inside vehicles, shooting underneath stuff, and shooting inside buildings where brass bounces off, goes back in the gun, or shooting in contact distance where a dude's right up on you trying to stab you and shit, and you're trying to shoot him, or he's trying to take your gun away, and you get malfunctions, right? I don't think we spend enough time doing that. I think most of the time when people are shooting, they have a very sterile shooting environment where things just go right? But I don't ever want to plan for a best case scenario. I want to plan for the worst case scenario. So that's my method. That's why I do it, okay? It's one thing, you know, if I'm clearing malfunction, I tap rack. If I'm reloading, I rip the mag out, put a new one in, and rack, right? New mag up first, I make sure I have a new mag, okay? If I just grab my gun off the nightstand, I probably only got that mag that's in that gun. So, anyways, that's it. You know, I just want to make this video because those are some things I don't quite see talked about enough. Hope y'all learned something. I'm sure you did, all right? Again, watch the videos in the description. The one from Warrior Poet Society and a couple from Tactical Response. Go take some classes, all right? Take some classes. Like, if you're yelling at people over the way they reload but you've never had a class, your opinion's pretty invalid, okay? All right? Go take some training, all right? And it doesn't just stop at shooting. Go take, you know, your pistol training, but then take some medicals, take some force on force, take some low light. There's a lot of great stuff you can learn out there. And carry your damn gun, okay? Carry your damn gun. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers, everyone who comments on my videos, especially to those who are buying my gear. You know, got a bunch of fanny pack and backpack and sling orders I have to get sewing to right now. Thank you, especially to my students. You guys are the best. I'm really looking forward to this upcoming Rifleman 1 class. We got a whole bunch of people in there. You guys are the best. Keep fighting communism, and remember that training saves lives.